All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Space Brothers, episode 58. All right, let's have a good conversation in a bar.
Yes, a trio that we'd wanted and hoped for, basically, but we never expected we'd get so quickly.
Right.
This is wonderful.
And not even as a trio. I was expecting maybe there'd, be one-on-one conversations with any different combination of the people at this bar. But no, we got all three of them. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, the one that wasn't a one-on-one before this was kind of like a very, loose form of a conversation. So,
right.
In a lot of ways, is Muta actually going to ruffle them up a little bit?
Is he going to be the third wheel?
Well, no. I think he's going to ruffle them up so that they all talk more.
Sure.
He's going to be that focus point that brings more conversation.
The X factor, the agitator.
Right. He's got the parsley hair, He's got the little broccoli,
Oh, yeah. Because you just know that, Pico has a good way to vibe with Bold. We'll sit here, we'll drink, we'll say maybe 5 words, and then we'll leave. And it'll be a great time. Muta? Somehow I doubt
Muta?
that. Yeah, I don't think he will clock that kind of vibe.
No, I think Muta, if anything, might end up being a fun way to, they'll orbit around him, on the opposites, and then he'll, slingshot them off on little tangents and little things, and then they'll come back to orbit him, I could see a fun way in which the conversation revolves around him, but he doesn't get to actually jump in as much as they end up leading things.
What I want to see at some point, I just think it'd be great if Bold just does this. That's
just that pose at some point.
Just pinches the bridge of his nose. That's all I want.
Bruh. I want him to then pull off his glasses with a little bit of tremble and then do the rub.
Oh yeah,
if we get
more
better
than that, great.
Yeah.
If he does that at some point,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. I would love specifically to have Pico and Muta, slightly drunk, start to bully Bold, basically, and start to start to poke at him a little bit.
He's just there, stoic and staring at the camera, and
just kind of here, just kind of turns back and is just like,
"Yep,
save me," But
he's just like, "I'll take a bad turn on the way home."
Exactly, just kind of throw the brakes on really quick. Just kind of. Actually, he's gonna have to drive both of them back to their respective spots.
Oh yeah, he's the designated driver. He totally is.
Yeah. But yeah, y'all. Without further ado, let's get into this. Whoa, I don't know if I noticed that was there in the previous episode, but the way he kind of reset himself emotionally. We've seen him so stoic.
Yeah, but that exhale, yeah.
Well, right, but also the way his eyes kind of adjusted and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
スピードを少し上げますよ
I'll go wherever you want to go, Kenjiro Suda.
Yeah.
Take me to Golden Kamui's next season.
Exactly. After that whole scare of Hibuto dying in space, then he just dies crash landing.
Flashback.
Okay.
Oh, it's a piece of Bold's first rocket that he made or something.
Gotcha.
Wait, are they childhood friends? Pico and Bold are childhood friends.
No way.
And they had a third.
Oh my
God. No, wait.
Wow.
Earnest failure.
It's like a goddamn One Piece backstory.
Uh-huh. No way.
The next rocket that one of us is going to be on.
Right, that's 100 miles per hour, not 100 kilometers per hour.
Exactly. 100 actually means something.
Let's go to 120. Yeah.
Also, I love the little detail of it saying miles/H instead of just MPH.
Hey, that might be how it is in a Lambo or whatever this car is.
Or in the future.
2度目だよこんな目に遭うのあんたもキャンディー舐めるか
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's a good point. Muta's kind of dealt with this before.
でもな
Yeah, this guy is easy. This guy's nothing.
ビンスさんは
He's Right, he was in the van and like going over like dirt roads and everything.
In a top-heavy
Wait,
vehicle.
barely breaking the speed limit.
正直に答えてください。
Oh. Okay.
君にとっての敵は誰ですか？
I have no enemies.
Yes, exactly.
ですか。敵。
The anti-spirals.
私にとってはマスコミが敵です。
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, you do live in Texas.
宇宙開発、有人飛行を長い目で見てくれない。
Well, that too. Like,
我々宇宙飛行士の存在を批判。
wow.
Okay.
Sure.
的成果が得られるのは我々の仕事だ。それができない有人飛行に大金を回すのは全くの無駄遣い。
Huh. Now, is that just their
Interesting.
egos for a lot of them? And that they want to have.
敬する人物として天文学者の名前。
Oh. Yes.
理解に苦しみます。
いや、シャロンはい全
いですか、
然その。
ミスター。我々の邪魔をする者は皆敵です。
Interesting.
Damn.
月面に到着した3名の飛行士は基地への移動を
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's his first time here on the moon.
月面車スコールイは
Okay.
時速30キロで走行
Yeah. Awesome.
早く着きすぎましたね。
What do you know?
そりゃそうだよ。あれだけ飛ばせば。
Well, wow, the consequences of your actions.
You wasted that time you saved.
Well, then they get to have a one-on-one conversation, though.
みんな宇宙が好きでやっている人々だからいいんじゃないですかね。仲間ってことで。
Aren't we Nakama?
じゃあ君には敵はいないと。
いや、いないと。
Aww. We're this close to greatness.
Yeah, yeah.
Really? A man of your talents?
大体俺です。
Ah,
Well
well
said.
said. Wisdom.
邪魔して足を引っ張り続けたのは結局俺でした。他に敵はいません。
Yep.
No other enemies. All right, close
Right.
enough. We'll take it.
Yeah.
そういうことに気づかせてくれたのが天文学者のシャロンという。
Yes. Yes. Right.
敵だとは思わないはずですよ。
いらっしゃい。
He didn't interrupt Muta.
このせっかち野郎が。
He's like, wait, what? He's like, did I just see that?
この距離程度なら十分持つんだこれが。消耗してもスペアをすぐ用意できやがる。
True.
Yeah.
それでピコは
Easy to deploy spares too.
Is that what you like him now?
本気でやった場合に限るよ。
Okay.
本気の失敗には価値がある。
Nice.
Oh! 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 They just... They're like... Bold's like, drinks all his water and wants, get me like your hardest liquor
Yeah.
or something. Like,
No, he took a
immediately.
stiff drink of that water.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The stiffest.
これピコが切り分けたのか。綺麗に切ったな。
Yeah, so each of us will have a piece.
リックだ。
おはよう諸君
Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
All right, now complete the triangle.
Boom.
Well,
Ah, the good bit of lift it got, though.
yep.
シアモジュールに警報は出てないか
異常はない。
マジか？
Something smells weird.
なら警報が鳴るだろう。ヒーだ。クルーキャビンからだ。
Crap.
Okay.
センサーの誤作動を疑うこちらでシステムチェックをするいや待て
He can smell it. Yeah, yeah.
いっけ
火災は配線の不具合によって
Whoa.
Okay.
That could have been bad.
Yeah.
That could have been so bad.
は30歳の初フライトで早くも仲間の命を救った。
That's that's terrifying.
ブライアンがさ初の打ち上げなのに寝ちゃってて記憶にないって話は受けたな
Probably just blacked out. Just.
こんな人でも宇宙飛行士になれんだね。
Yeah, if he could do it.
だってなんか俺と同じ匂いがする
Does he though?
管制官に
Nice,
そんな寝癖の立ったやつはいね
管制室に入るときには直すよ
Right,
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
宇宙飛行士になったビンスに指示を送るそのビンスはピコの作った宇宙船に乗る
Oh.
僕たち3人の目指す先がいつも宇宙を向いているということを言い
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
とこは帰還するか
Yep. We all go our separate ways. Yeah.
ホットヒルは郊外に出るとバカでかい鉱山がある。
鉱山の露天掘りがこの町の生活
So mining town, okay, yeah.
の男たちの多くはそこで肉体労働をしている。
So dreaming about space is pretty wild.
Sure. So maybe he didn't get as much support with regards to stuff like that. Oh.
もしもし。
I think I have an idea as to why Bold doesn't drink too.
Yeah.
なんでわざわざ難しいもの
紙
を
製のは物足りないんだ。リアルなロケットがつ
Right, an actual full rocket, yeah.
父さんと同じ鉱山技師になるものと思っていたがな。真面目に将来を考える時期じゃないのか。
I am considering it. Like,
Because a mining
I'm
engineer,
serious.
like, that's kind of the most that they can hope for.
or right, if you assume you're gonna stay living here in a small
Right.
town, you know.
父さん、丘で ISS を見る約束があるんだ。
Okay, it's just a checked out dad, basically. Like he's not like
宇宙へ行けるというのに。僕はこの町さえ。
wow, that's a line.
Yeah. No wonder people who keep them from going to space are the enemy.
高望もいいとこだ。ポットヒルからこんな大学へ行けたやつは一人も
Oh, your grades need to be like crazy good.
かピコ。宇宙船を作るだ
Oh,
と。そんなもの波の人間にできることじゃないだろう。波のお前が口にするな。
The small town mentality is real.
yeah.
なんだよ二人とも。元気ねえな。
You got the same talk we did.
いてねえよ。NASA の技術者ホーマー・ヒッカムだって最初は田舎町に
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that's right.
若い頃ロケットを飛ばしながらさ。だから気にすんなよ。ロケットを飛ばしたこともない先行が言ってることなんて。
Also a great point.
There you go.
俺らにとっては重要だ。
Oh.
だよな。
It's just gonna go whew, for like a brief second, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Just like that.
Oh, this theme.
And it's such a small thing, right? To just
Right.
see it go across the sky. But,
Just moving so fast.
ブライアンが
yeah. I hope we don't get a hard and uncomfortable cut to Bold's home life after this.
I think what it's going to be is that their third, Rick, is just not going to make it out of the town, you know? He's going to
Yeah.
stay here.
こんな田舎町でも ISS は見れるじゃねえか。
Yup.
なあ。
You know, a lot of ways it's because you live in the middle of nowhere. Because
Yeah.
The light pollution will be too high for a lot of us to see it.
ピコが新しい
God,
宇
it's
宙
a cool,
Wow.
cool shot. Awesome.
Okay.
And here we are. Now they have a third again.
A lot of stuff in your pockets.
Yeah, he's got so much. Bro is a klepto.
どこに入れた
Oh, his piece.
Oh, yeah. Also, damn, that wad of bills.
I mean, some people are cash only people, you know.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This was a great episode.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
We got backstory for.
We got our good
Pico.
old-fashioned One Piece backstory.
Yeah.
There's 3 characters. We only know 2 of them. What in God's name is going to happen to the third?
It's
you know?
it's such a good formula.
Yep.
It works so well to have that like trio of characters that you know a limited number of them in the future already informing you that something is going to shatter this brotherhood,
Yep.
this friendship,
And the thing is,
trifecta.
because this is like, a real world story and all that stuff, right? It's not in some fantastical world or
Yeah,
anything.
nobody's gonna die. Like
Not necessarily. They could. We've got
Yeah,
a mine.
I
we could have a mining accident
I-
or some shit,
I-
but
highly doubt this is going to be a
Right.
death situation. I think it's going to be the more realistic, sad thing of their dream was not realized. They
Right.
did not make it in to
Exactly.
the really fun,
They
fancy
mooted.
university. Yeah, they
Yeah.
mooted. Yeah.
yeah, right. And especially if, their grades apparently weren't, too hot, then yeah.
Right. Bold's is good, which
Mm-hmm.
I like the detail that even back then, Bold was proficient and capable and smart.
Yeah.
But we did not see that same curtness that we see in him
Which makes
as
sense
an adult.
because he had not yet been in the military,
True.
So
True.
that will absolutely have an effect on a person.
What's cool though is that maybe informs how he then maybe pays for his university stuff, because we're in the U.S.
Sure.
So university is expensive.
Yeah.
And he's from a small mining town, and if his parents aren't going to help him with this, he could end up having to go to the military specifically to end up having like a scholarship or something to then go.
Right, because it's like, okay, the military doesn't pay very much, but you know, then
they
I
do
do
have
have cheaper education or something.
Well, they do give good deals specifically if you test into certain universities. and
Although
stuff.
I will say that would be really funny if there was something where it's like, you know, because we were pointing out little things of like, oh, these little details that are like the you know, someone who's not an American doing a thing about America, right? You know,
Right,
and
right.
so, you know, there are these little details that won't be quite right, you know. But how hilarious would that be if it's like, oh, yeah, and then university, and like the subject of exorbitant prices is never brought up because it's just like, what? University being
He got a full ride
ridiculously
scholarship.
expensive?
Now, that's the part that maybe was inferred by the high school counselor.
Sure.
Is that what they were doing is basically saying, hey, because you were born here, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't have the money for this kind of university, even with your good grades. That might have been what they were bringing up kind of casually, is that they're not going to bring it up in that larger context of anything. They're just saying, hey, yes, your grades are good.
No one from here
You
has
will
gotten
get a
into-
scholarship, maybe, like that will give you something, but not a full ride.
And that might be the obstacle that is the, oh, you managed to do the thing that no one's ever done from this town before of actually getting into one of these schools. Great. How are you going to pay for it?
Right.
Right. Like, you know, are you actually wanting to saddle yourself with 6 figures of debt at a, 8 to 10 interest
even if
rate?
it's 5 figures,
you know?
just the idea that like
Yeah.
you won't necessarily have that kind of money immediately. I don't know what. Actually, no, we can't extrapolate potentially what year this is. This would be around.
It's
the
around
late,
present day.
No. I'm saying because of how old
right,
they
right.
are back in that time. This would be actually around the late 90s to early 2000s, I would say. And we could also extrapolate some things with regards to the whole thing with Hickam, which is such a fun detail because I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I recognize this premise of kids in a mining town.
The two of us together passed our American test.
We did.
You know, because
We've watched October Sky.
yeah, exactly. Caleb remembered that, like, wait, this is like that movie. And I'm like, oh, October Sky. And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, right.
exactly.
And then we looked it up,
It's
and
a
it's
goated
and
movie.
It's literally
It's the story of Hickam. Like,
coal miner's son that wants to, do astronaut stuff.
right. They literally took the whole thing
Yep.
and brought it into
Right.
this anime, which is such a fun detail of, yes, he does end up doing the impossible, basically.
Yeah, it is kind of wild how, like, because of how big the U.S. is, how crazy things can get when you just go into the boonies. You know, as far
Or
as
just
like,
going into a different state.
or going into a different state,
Sure.
of just the difference from what you would expect maybe in a big city or or something like that, and then you go somewhere else and it's like, oh man,
Yeah, most
like,
people outside the U.S. only know of about maybe 5, maybe 10 major U.S. cities, and then they frame a lot of their thoughts about the U.S. from those cities.
right, because that's
basically.
if you look at the actual population density of the U.S., that's where most of the people are, right?
I mean,
'Cause,
if-
people
it's
go
where
to the cities, right?
It's where the most dense population centers are and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, the U.S. also has hundreds and hundreds of millions of people in it, and they're all over this massive country. So
Right.
the idea that in Pot Hill, Minnesota, it's already a Midwest
Oh, yeah.
or kind of middle U.S. kind of state in that regard. Right next to Canada, right next to Lake Superior and everything. Having a really small kind of sparse population just in general,
Right.
forested areas and stuff.
Yeah,
Cold
it's-
as balls winters.
It's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, when some of the mega like city areas, like the greater LA area, has like 40 million people or something, and it's like, oh, that's 10% of the U.S. population. Damn. Okay.
Right, right.
And so yeah, when it's not something that people often think about, but yeah, if you go to then these tiny little towns and 20,000 people, that's maybe on the bigger end of those tiny little towns, you
Right.
know?
There's a lot of land, and thus there's a lot of industry that is the reason as to why that
Right.
land is even being utilized by
And-
people.
And I love the idea that it's not
Otherwise
even
it's just free, open.
Yeah, and the idea that it's not even something of like, hey, you need to work in the mine as a laborer. It's, hey, you're a smart kid. You can work in the mine as an engineer.
Right.
Right?
You
Like-
won't even work in the mine.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll
You'll-
help design stuff
ways that
will be
people
the
work in the
tech
mine.
that will be used in the mine. Maybe.
Exactly, right. Like, and it's like, you know, like that's such a wonderful way to showcase the desperation of these kids to be like, oh my god, I have to get out, right?
Oh, right. And
While
also
at the same time, the parents being like, no, this is actually a good
right.
setup.
This
you
isn't
know?
something where we have to bring things into drab black and white situations where these
Right.
are abusive parents that we were
Yeah.
like genuinely worried about when we saw the alcohol, the
Yep.
way Bold doesn't drink alcohol, and kind of things that could have gone that route since they were focusing primarily on Bold's childhood more so
Right.
than the other two.
Uh-huh.
And yet they didn't go that route. It's
Right.
just a detached dad sitting at the TV, drinking, yes.
Yep.
But he's more just, he just doesn't care. His care is basically that, no, you're a smart boy, you're going to be an engineer, and you'll get in, and you'll do good there.
Yep.
You should be proud, you know?
Right.
And then the guidance counselor basically being the second voice of the father, being like, you'll make him very happy. This
And
is a good thing, you know?
Oh man, I love so much the detail of it being like, hey, why should we take the, you know, advice on life from someone who's never built a rocket before? Like it.
Yeah. It's really interesting how, in a lot of ways, you look at people in environments that are so focused on one thing that when they suggest the one thing, you kind of have to wonder if there's actually some motivation that's selfish involved there.
Oh, sure.
Of like, no, it's better for our town if we keep a steady growth of people that come into this industry that have talent, because if they leave and we have what is it called when you've got not drainage, but there's a technical term when you watch your best people generally leak out and leave an area.
Oh yeah, to say nothing about the idea that would, like, it's not just of if you leave, it's the, oh, no one from our town has ever gotten into one of those big universities. If someone did and then they leave, that might get the other, you know, people that would do well in this town and help elevate the town to also leave, you know, right? Like,
that might be a bit of a stretch. I see where you're coming from there. I was just thinking about it in that if they were wanting this industry and what they have in the town to grow, and since it's the lifeblood of the town, you would literally have people probably in that industry paying people like the guidance counselor to say, hey, make sure to encourage people to do this. You are not a guidance counselor, you are a recruiter for this industry. In the same way that the military kind of predates upon high schoolers of certain like physical acumen to be like, no, don't you want to?
Oh, you don't have vision for your life or
You
whatever.
want to play a video game in real life, you know, and
yeah.
handle real guns, you know?
Yep. No, that's
It's really it's really insidious, and on the surface it probably looks just like enthusiasm, but it's also like
right because there's elements
sus.
of the things that they say that is probably right to some
Exactly,
extent, right?
yeah.
But the thing is that it's biased, right?
It's biased,
and
exactly.
that's where
Right.
you know it's the issue. It feels very similar to me to like the people that will be like finance gurus online or whatever, right?
those guys are way worse.
Well, but hear me out.
Okay.
So,
Let 'em
so
cook, let 'em
the
cook.
idea being that they're giving you advice on a thing, but the thing that they are actively practicing and the reason why they are in a position to give you advice on this thing is by doing not what they practice. right? Like you know, they aren't making their money by actually like making businesses and stuff. They're making money by being a finance influencer.
By selling courses and
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so when they tell you, I'll teach you the secrets of business, at most they'll give you a formula for how to be a finance influencer, right? You know, or sell your course
they'll
or whatever.
tell you something that you could have Googled and
Sure,
maybe found with like
Yeah.
a week's worth of research.
And so
you
the
know?
whole idea of like, oh, this guidance counselor being like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to be successful and everything. When did you want to be a guidance counselor when you were young, or is this kind of just the thing of like, okay, this is what ended up working out for you or whatever, or I'm going to teach you how to be a guidance counselor, teacher, or whatever.
To play devil's advocate for this though, guidance counselors are a very important necessary part, I would say, of that kind of experience there, because in a lot of high school environments in the US specifically, a lot of people come out of high school very aimless, very not like actually knowing what they're doing. And the idea that the guidance counselor's job is not to teach you anything, but they're basically is there to say, hey, with where your like work, like your stats show, here's some things that could line up with your stuff there.
Yeah.
Do any of these interest you?
Right. Help you have a direction and a strong direction.
They're to present you with a lot of options.
Right.
But the idea that this guidance counselor is literally saying, do this,
Yeah.
that's where I would have issue with it and potentially suspect bias, motive, and or being bought and paid for.
Right.
And so...
And you could have plenty of bias without it getting too bought and paid for, but literally being bought and paid for is absolutely on the table.
It is totally like that, because you wouldn't even need much. It could also, like you're saying, it could also just be something where he's hyper aware of how much, is it brain drain? I don't remember what it is. But basically, the talented people above a certain acumen have already been leaving the town since, for decades. But it's just that every once in a while we get one or two of them to stay. And those people end up going to being leaders in the industry.
Sure.
And innovators and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And
you do need people like that.
And the notion of, hey, so you were born into a small pond. I know that sucks. But I will say, that means that even if you did have the opportunity to go into a bigger pond, that means that you could be the big fish in the little pond pretty effectively. Like, maybe that's something like...
Yeah, you might like that.
Yeah,
You might like that, because in a lot of ways, you being big here makes the pond have to expand a little bit too.
Sure.
Like realistically,
there are strategic ways to think about that as
For
an
sure.
approach.
But actually, what these kids want to do is dream, and
Yeah.
they want to dream far bigger than you're letting them, and that is just such a quintessential human thing.
And I love the idea that one of the big driving factors for we have to get to space is because we have to get out of this town. And literally the farthest away that we could get from this town is space.
Yeah.
So fantastic, let's do that.
I love that line of, there are people that are going to space and I can't even get out of this town. I've been to small towns. Like, I've lived in a small town. Not really like in a permanent sense, but like lived, for summers and stuff.
Yep.
And when you have a place that has less than 1,000 people, oh my gosh, it's small.
Yeah.
And then you think, oh, wait, if I lived here for 30 years,
Oh, yeah.
I could make it work, but boy.
It was wild growing up and seeing coming back to this place every summer, 400 people in the town. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, 2,500 in the entire valley of people within like an hour distance.
Right. Like middle of nowhere,
Yes.
And the way that you see the locals and the way that they act and the kind of energy they have and all that stuff. And then as they start to leave, and then the people that end up staying and all of that. And then you work a night shift bussing tables at the bar/restaurant and see the locals that hang out at the bar in this tiny town in the middle of nowhere, and it's
kind of depressing.
It's pretty, bars in general are already one of the most depressing places you can go to. Sitcoms have sold the American people a lie, But
there are probably great bars out there.
Sure, I've been to some of them.
I have too, yeah.
But, by and large, most of them suck ass. They are terrible.
And it's not even that the bars are bad. It's just that they're depressing in atmospheres and environments and stuff.
It's like, oh, I don't want to hang out here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people just coping. And it's rough. If you want to dream, don't go to a bar, basically.
No.
Someone will tell you your dream is something you should let die.
Exactly. The Piano Man is a great song.
Yes.
But don't shoot for that to be your life,
I love Rick though as the voice of boisterous, gregarious,
right, when
spearheading the dream
probably
and
the
stuff.
least chances of any of them.
Well, no, we know from the meta.
Yeah, we know
sense,
it's not going to.
We know it's not going to be him, probably.
Right.
But the idea that, in a lot of ways, Pico doesn't have much chance either.
Sure.
With the way that the guidance counselor described it, it's basically they're Pico, what the fuck? We know. You and I both know.
This isn't.
You're bordering on not delinquent territory, but
it's not gonna go well for
you're
you.
not bold. I get that you guys might have sold him on your delusions of grandeur.
He's straight-laced enough and all that stuff that he could probably make some shit work,
Right. And here's the wild thing. This is something that we need to realize. We're watching an anime about fictional characters.
Yeah.
If a child comes to you and tells you they want to be a content creator, something way easier than an astronaut, what are you gonna tell the kids?
So what
don't
so,
do that,
okay.
right? See,
So
this
so
is
it,
where
no.
we need to.
So here's legitimately because a friend of mine is a teacher, and she's actually mentioned like when her 6th graders or whatever want to be like YouTubers or whatever, right?
Yeah,
it's like, well, I actually know a YouTuber, What I would tell them is, hey, your best bet actually is to do the thing that you do when you're not thinking about like trying to do something, because the biggest hack that you can get is not your passion or your dream necessarily, it's your habits. And building a habit is a lot harder than capitulating on an existing habit.
But building a habit doesn't necessitate success.
No, totally.
Doesn't even necessitate.
No, totally.
Like,
but I think there is definitely a reason why right now I am a YouTuber and not a full-time writer.
Oh, there's definitely a reason.
Like
most of those, I would say, are also industry reasons.
Sure.
Those are environmental factors.
No, totally.
We are not what I would call great YouTubers.
No. We are the small to mid-lister.
Small to mid-lister and lucky,
Right, exactly. But the idea that if you burden yourself with the pressure of I need to do this thing because it's my dream, it's my identity, it's all that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like you're already kind of setting yourself up for failure in a lot of ways.
And that's the point. That's what they're doing. That's kind of what they're doing.
Right. And so there is definitely a point to what the guidance counselors are saying,
right?
But not for the reasons that they're saying.
But we don't know the reasons necessarily. That's the part that's so fun, is that we have to extrapolate that based on the things of like, he shouldn't be saying go to the mining thing only.
Well, no, right. Well, the problem is that I mean, well, we do have certain things that he's saying. He's saying
true.
Your lot in life is this town, and you will not be able to escape that. Sorry, it sucks, but you were born here, right?
Right.
That's what might be better is all right. So if that's something you want to do, okay. You got dealt kind of a shit hand.
Here's some practice exams. Yeah.
This is not going to be easy. And so if this is something that you actually want to do,
prove it by doing these like extra things here.
Because most of the time when people say something like this, when they say they want to be the YouTuber or whatever, what they're actually saying is that if I ended up waking up one day and I was a YouTuber or a whatever, that would be pretty dope.
Or let's give them even a better thing of it. They dream about it constantly.
Sure.
They're like these boys, and they're watching, they're immersing themselves entirely in that thing.
Right. But the difference between the dream and the practical going through with that are two very different things. And so the fact that you're building the rockets and stuff, great.
Awesome. That's good.
Keep doing that, because if you do that, then maybe you have a shot. Right.
But building the rockets, this isn't Disney. Just because you build the rockets doesn't mean you're going to be a rocket engineer.
Right.
Like that's the part that I liked so much about Muta's journey, was that he actually got lucky in the end. Like in a lot of ways, because of the little things that he did with Hibito when they basically immersed themselves in the culture of space exploration and space related things.
Oh yeah, the fact that they
ended up creating the experience with a memory of a former NASA applicant that basically never ended up getting to go to space. That's then like, I want to see these boys go to space. If they go to space, my life will have extra purpose and meaning to it, because I was a part of their journey,
and that's on top of
wonderful.
Aunt Sharon just existing. Right.
True. Aunt Sharon is literally the hero that made all this possible.
Like it's there is,
she kept the dream alive for Hibito.
Right. There is going to be shit like that. And
Muta gave up.
Right. And the thing that can be tough is realizing when things are setting you up for something potentially and you didn't realize just how much.
Yes.
Because you won't know when
you will not know.
You will not know, right?
But maybe someone can come along and be able to point out it in the moment.
Right. But like, as an example, one of the things that prepped me and Caleb for being YouTubers a lot that we would not have thought about is the fact that we loved to geek out about movies together, and we would talk, with each other, with our dad, whatever, about things, and we would just talk about it nonstop. And as a result of that, then when we actually started becoming YouTubers, the whole having a discussion thing, that actually worked kind of well, even though we didn't have we didn't practice to become YouTubers, but hey, we had some things that lined up and it was convenient that way, right? Yeah. And so, cool. there was that preparation and opportunity that intersected, even though you didn't realize you were preparing. Great, right?
Yes.
And that's one of those things where, for these kids, you're preparing in this way. Awesome, fantastic.
Opportunity hasn't hit you though.
Opportunity hasn't hit you, and that won't necessarily even be the most important preparation that you have to do.
Correct.
But you are taking this preparation seriously. Fantastic. Let's broaden your horizons with how you're preparing.
Right.
In order to hopefully increase your odds.
Yeah, and I'm excited for this backstory having at least a part 2 because it does seem like the next episode will set up some of that.
Yep.
While we do end up having a little bit of the, hey, we've got the piece. It's important to each of them.
Yep.
It's important to Bull. He's held on to it all this time. Pico's apparently he misplaced.
Right.
Which is hilarious because the guy is always carrying around something that is just weird. Some kind of game, some kind of
There's way too much shit in that dude's pockets. I don't even know how it fit in there. Like,
I love that he has like 9 backup lollipops though, because he always seems to have one in his mouth, and he like bites the whole thing off, and I'm like, what kind of
monster
are you?
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
exactly. But the fact that this backstory made me think of October Sky, just one of the movies that was extremely inspirational and wholesome to me as a kid and stuff. Being like, oh, right. Yeah. There's things like that you don't realize will inspire you. And they could be just your 2 best buddies, They could just be your 2 best buddies.
Yep.
But it also could be an astronomer who's just a kind lady who just happens to let her space be open to 2 rowdy little gremlin children who run in and just run a mess, yell and make noise, and are gawking about stuff, and maybe
my husband
like dirtying up your
and,
books and stuff.
And now it can be kind of like, we had kids or something, like great, or I have grandkids or whatever. Yeah, fantastic.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yep.
So, yes, keep preparing your passion. Keep putting fuel on the thing that, like Jacob's saying, you are already forming a habit of. Right. Because even if it's something that you just like because brain chemicals go brr, when you see the rock go, and stuff like that, you might not have any technical ability with regards to actually like doing the rocket stuff. And maybe that's just your buddy Bold who is the one who's got all the stuff there, or maybe it's all Pico who actually has the like creative engineer's mind to be able to be like, okay, puzzle pieces and the critical thinking, all that stuff.
But and this might be me projecting, but as best you can, don't fuck it up by like making it too important. Like
how do you tell a kid that? Though?
Right, exactly.
That's like impossible.
Like it's the as things happen, or if they happen, let it happen and all that stuff. But oftentimes when you try and force something,
there's so many counter philosophies to that.
I know, yeah.
The one of I made my kids learn piano, and then they thank me when they're 30.
Oh, sure.
It's the thing of where, on some level, when you're a child, and I'm talking from like, you're conscious at like, 3 or what have you, to like 17, basically. There's a lot of stages of the rocket in that 3 to 17 kind of range there.
Absolutely.
What the kid finds interesting at 5 or 15 are going to be very different things depending on what the person they like at 15 is into at that point or something.
Yeah.
Or what kind of summer they had at age 12.
Oh, sure.
Or what their best friends are doing when they're 10 or something.
Right. Or just, talking personal stuff and all that.
Sure.
Being a YouTuber and talking about stories probably wouldn't have, been very good at that if I didn't get really passionate about stories as a young kid.
Yeah, if we didn't read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Was books intentionally preparing us for... No.
Fuck no.
No. No. I just liked reading fiction. Fiction was cool.
I don't even really like reading that much right now. It takes so much time compared to other forms of media, right? But like...
Yeah. You get like, a book here and there, and then we'll be like, oh, bro, I actually read the whole book,
That's right, I read.
Yeah, not well.
The brain rot hasn't set in that far yet.
It's there, eating away at my insides.
Right, but
I still read subtitles.
I still listen to audiobooks.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, this is a great example of a classic anime backstory, done well, but also not done.
Yeah.
I am very excited to see how they put an end cap on this. While we did transition back into the present, I would like for this conversation to end up with Muta being privy to some of the backstory and having them talk about it when Muta's like, why are you so fixated to find a piece of a thing that Bold also has? And they'd be like, he wouldn't get it. You know,
It all started when we were born.
It all started in a small town in Pot Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What are you guys, like hobbits back there or something? A Pot Hill?
I thought that stuff wasn't legalized yet.
It is now.
Right. I gotta say thank you for not having like a scene of the dad like beating the shit out of Bold or something.
We could still get it.
No, we could still get it. No, I know, but like there's an element of where when backstories come up, and then it's like, hey, okay.
Oh, they're small, cute children with dreams and hope. Oh
no,
what's
why's
gonna
dad
beat
taking
it out
off his
of them?
belt? Yeah.
Or is hopefully just life beats it out of them. We don't need to see any humans physically doing it.
Exactly.
Life is already painful enough as it is.
And there's an element sometimes where I feel like stories can get a bit ahead of themselves with the fact that they haven't set us up to be expecting particular difficult content in their narrative.
True.
And then suddenly it hits and you're like, oh my god.
I would say in a lot of ways we didn't have enough trust in Space Brothers we don't have enough faith in Space Brothers to doubt them at this point. We've had so much goodwill built up over the Am I saying it the wrong way?
I think we don't have enough faith in Space Brothers to doubt them.
No. We have so much. I can't speak. There's so much faith I have in Space Brothers that I don't know why we doubted Space Brothers.
Sure.
Basically, at this point.
No, I totally think they do it well. It's still just
No,
something.
I'm saying they wouldn't even do it at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit really within the themes. We have basically so many other things that they can utilize.
The showing of the dad just slamming the glass down a little hard, right, and that he's drinking.
He didn't slam it down.
Well, okay, sure.
He was just drinking.
Yeah. But that's enough as for communicating to us the reason why now Bold is just drinking water, right?
Sure.
We don't need anything more than that. We got it. Great.
Yeah. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon to get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.